Hi, it's Kari Mathews of Prairie Quilting. Today we're going to be working on this quilt block Coral Bells, and this is a part of the Superior Solid Sampler for Bannertex. The pattern is a free pattern, and if you go to my website, prairiequilting.com, subscribe to the newsletter and I will get that to you. There are so many fun Superior Solids to work with, so pick your own colors and let's get started. What I like to do with my templates is laminate them here. And I'm just gonna go ahead, so it makes it nice and easy. You can just cut it out and it gives it a lot more durability. So you just go ahead, cut out all of your templates here. It's just a quick, easy way to get a pretty durable template here. Okay, and I'm gonna show you how I like to cut my templates out. So I'm cutting this interesting template like this, and this should give, we want bias edges. Okay, so those edges should be able to stretch because they're going to go around the curved pieces. Okay, also you can see here I'm fitting this. I had cut another one out, and so we're going to nest those. So this one is going this way. I'm going to turn it and it will nest. Okay, and for this template here, we're gonna go ahead and we've cut a strip, and the sizes are all in the pattern. And so what we do is we're gonna line up the straight edge on that straight edge, and then I'm gonna trace around. We're gonna nest those templates, so we're gonna turn it and keep working our way down the strip, okay? Okay, and for this last template, I'm just gonna, it's not a square, there's a bit of a curve here, so I'm just gonna lay it pretty much straight grain, should be just across, okay? We're gonna be sewing in a strip set with a red and an orange strip. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and give it a top press here and then press toward the red. And I'm being careful not to distort the fabric. All right, and there we have our strip set. Okay, so I am laying this out and I am lining one of the sides up here, this red side. I'm lining it up with a line, and it doesn't really matter which. And then I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a clean cut. Okay, so I'm just cutting that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and cut units. I need 8 units for this block. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep cutting and get 8 of these units. Okay, so now we have 8 of those units. Okay, and now we're gonna go ahead and make a 4 patch. Okay, so we're just gonna take 2 of the units and we're going to put them together. All right, let's go ahead and sew. I like to sew with my needle down so that when I get to the pins, I can just pull those out easily. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and just press, and they're the same both ways, so it doesn't matter which side. Okay, so now we have our little inner parts of the flower done, okay? And you can face these whichever way you like. I'm going to have the orange going toward the outside, okay, pointing outward. So I'm gonna go ahead and put mine like this. Okay, so next we have this pink. This is kind of like the inner bell here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and lay them out, okay? And, okay. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and press toward that pink square. And we're doing 4 of these. There's 1 in each corner. Okay, so now we're gonna match these up with these pink rectangles. Okay, so we're just gonna put those on, match those up like this. So I match that up in the corner. So I love those flowers that have kind of that bell shape. All right, and we'll go ahead and press toward that pink rectangle. These Superior Solids are really just a really nice, smooth texture. All right, so let's go ahead and get ready to cut these templates out. So we're gonna go ahead and put our template, it's a basic drunkard's path template. We're gonna put the corner in the corner of with the 4 patch in it, okay? And then I'm going to trace it, okay? With my pencil, and I just hold it down, okay? All right, last one, and then we'll cut these out. So I'm gonna go ahead and just use my scissors and cut this out. And I just love the whole process of quilting, so I'm not in a super big hurry because, you know, it's all part of the process. I love the process of quilting. Okay, and there we have all of our drunkard's path units. All right, so now we're going to connect up our drunkard's path units with this interesting shape here, okay? So the thing about working with solids is you don't have to worry about right side and wrong side. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to fold it in half, and we're gonna pinch it to find the center here, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing with our drunkard's path unit. We're gonna fold it in half along that curve, pinch that in the center, and that's where we're gonna match up those pinch marks there. Gonna put a pin there, and then we're gonna put one in each end. Now when I line these up, I want to make sure that my edges, the straight edges, are lined up well, okay? So these straight edges should be nice and straight, and I'm gonna go ahead and put a pin in that, and then we're gonna line up this side, okay? These edges here should be nice and straight, and we'll put a pin in that. Okay, so we have 3 pins. I like to sew with this kind of pie-shaped piece on the bottom, and then it's kind of like a cave, right, on the top, okay? That's how I like to sew. I find that I get less puckers that way. All right, here we go. And our needle is definitely down, okay, for this. I'm gonna take a few stitches straight on, and then I'm pulling out that first pin. And we're easing the fabric in. So trying to just not get any puckers, and that's why I do it this way. And you're kind of mildly stretching some of this here to make it fit. Not too much. But I enjoy curved piecing. I think it's kind of relaxing. There's a little bit of give in it here. Okay, and then we're just coming straight off that edge. Right, so now we're going to go ahead and press, and the fabric seems to want to go toward that drunkard's path unit, so I'm just going to let it do that, okay? All right, there are our bells. Okay, so now we are going to put these blue templates here on, we're going to connect them to the bell shape of the flower. Okay, so to connect each one, we're gonna fold them in half. Now, this can be tricky. So I like to lay mine out to make sure I've got them lined up here correctly. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold it in half here to get the center. Okay, and then I'm gonna fold this part in half here. Okay, and then, so the curves are getting more gentle. It's harder to tell. This is the pie-shaped piece and this is the cave. So this one I like to do on top. So I'm gonna match those centers and put a pin in that. Okay, so I'm lining up these edges, make sure they're straight across, and then we'll go ahead and put a pin there. And we're gonna go ahead, and we have engineered corners here from the template. So we're gonna go ahead and line that up with that notch there. And we'll go ahead and put a pin in that side as well. Okay, so there's one, and then we're gonna do 2 of these sets, okay? So here's the other one. We'll save this other piece, find the center here, put a pin in there, put a pin in parallel to that straight edge. Put our needle down again. We're gonna take a couple stitches to get that set. And then we're gonna start using that stiletto to guide that fabric around. And if you have a few puckers, it's okay. The iron will press a lot of that out for you. Okay, so here we go again, and we're gonna go ahead now and match up the other side, okay? And I do like to lay it out, like I said, because I have done this the wrong way, and it's just, I don't like to unsew. So here's that, and we'll give this side a pinch. It's just the same thing. We're finding the center. We're sewing with that pie piece on the bottom and the cave on the top, okay? Give it a pin in the center here. The notch here goes on to the left. Okay, and then our straight edges will be over here on the right. Okay, there's one. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and sew. Right, so now we're gonna go ahead, and the fabric just wants to go toward the blue, and I'm just gonna let it tell me what to do today. Okay, here we go. Same thing with this. We're gonna go toward that blue. All right, and the last section we need to connect is the center strip here, okay? So the green piece goes in the center, and once again, we're just gonna go ahead and find the center, and it's there's no right side, it's symmetric all the way around. So we're gonna go ahead and find the center on that side, find the center on this side. Okay, and this is our pie-shaped piece, and this is our cave. So we'll sew with that green on the top and put a pin in it, and a pin on this side. And the pin on this other side. This curve is very gentle, so there's not a lot of easing for this. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna find the center again of that green on the other side, and the center of the pink, and the pink will go on the bottom here. And the other end. And we're gonna go ahead and press toward the green here. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and connect the centerpiece to both sides of the block, okay? And this is our cave piece, this piece, the center. So we're gonna go ahead and match that up, and we're going to use this center as kind of the center for that. So we're not necessarily gonna match up, we're not finding the center, because we're gonna use our seams. So we're gonna fold it back a 1/4 of an inch here, and those seams will kind of nest, okay? Okay, so now we're gonna go over here, pull that back a 1/4 of an inch, and they should kind of nest. It won't be a perfect nest. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and match up our side seams. Put a pin in that one and the other side as well. Put a pin in this. Okay, and I'm just constantly checking to make sure the bottom is not puckering. You can kind of tell, make sure it's laying pretty flat. And matching those edges. All right, so we have one more side to put on here and see that they meet about a 1/4 inch away. So slight nesting, loose nesting here. Okay, and then our edges. So for this big curve, we only have 4 pins in here, and it works out pretty neat. If you're having trouble, you can always put extra pins in. I like to use not quite as many. Okay, and there we go, last seam of the block. Now we're just doing some easing. Match it up as we go. Okay, as you come, so see here, I've kind of got a puckery little bit of a mess going. So I'm gonna just pick my thing up, and I'm just gonna kind of work that fabric until I get rid of that pucker, okay? And we're gonna just go a few more stitches, okay? So in that way, you can kind of smooth out as many puckers as you can. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and go toward those outer pieces here, away from that center section. Because once again, the fabric kind of is going that way, so we're going with it. All right, there we go. And there is our Coral Bells block. All right, our block is finished. I hope you had fun, and I hope to see you soon for another project. Take care.